Okay guys, day's finally here, and here it is. The new MetaMetals 1/10 ounce Osmium Bullion. It's 2025, year of the Cobra, and there it is. It's beautifully inscribed on the back of the bullion. Look at that. That is just wicked cool. Now, this is number 38 out of 66, so only 66 of these were made worldwide. Not a lot of these floating around. Now once again, we have the SMT logo at the bottom. That stands for Special Metals Technologies. That's Alexander Weimer's company, by the way, and he does an amazing job making these, and it looks immaculate. And of course, we can't forget the MetaMetals logo at the top, who sells these products. Now, I bought this one from Majestic Metals Market on eBay. He's the United States distributor for these products, and if it weren't for him, we wouldn't be able to review this product because these fractional osmium bullion were essentially his idea. Now, a really cool feature of this bullion is that in the right lighting, the laser engraving glows a blue color, and of course, that is the natural color of osmium metal. Now, as usual, these bullion come in these heavy-duty acrylic holders, and they come with two original genuine seals, and each seal has its own serial number. And now it's time for the inspection. But before that, I have a disclaimer. These acrylic bullion holders weren't really intended to be opened, but I won't deny that it's tempting to take the candy out of the wrapper. So if you do decide to open these, bear in mind that if these bullion are dropped, it is possible for them to crack or break. It is also possible for the internal components of the bullion holders to become damaged. And with that, let's continue. This is painful for some people, but it's got to be done. Here we go, and I'm going to pop the seal on the other side as well. Oh boy, okay, that didn't go as planned. When these seals are broken, you will notice the words void appear on the sides of the carrier. That lets you know there's no going back. Just as I did last time, with an Allen wrench I removed each screw one at a time. Up close, this bullion appears even more impressive than the 1-gram bullion. There's very little pitting on the surface and hardly any evidence of grind marks. And of course, even the sides have been flattened out as well. Very impressive. When weighed on a precision scale, it's not quite as accurate as the 1-gram bullion, but still well within the advertised 3.1 gram range. Okay, so we're looking at the bullion under the microscope now. And I have to say that I am very impressed because I couldn't see the grind marks until I looked at it under the microscope. And you know what? The camera can't pick them up that well either. See, there you can see some of the grind marks right there. You can see a few of them. And on this side too, the camera can catch a few of the grind marks. You can see the direction of the grind a bit. There's a few of them right there. Got to remember, osmium's a hard metal. It's really tough to scratch, so it takes a lot of heavy-duty machinery to make miracles like this happen. Okay, we're looking at the other side now. And wow, look at that craftsmanship with the Cobra. That is just incredible. Look at that. A fine detail on there, geez. Of course, the camera's fighting me on the focus here. That really is extraordinary. Now, it was first under the microscope that I noticed a couple defects. These appear to be either a mistake in the laser engraving or a couple of chips. Now, while they are visible to the naked eye, they are so small it's really not worth batting an eye over, because the mirror polish is of such high quality that any fingerprints are of immediate detriment to the appearance. Thus, The corrosion test is next. I now have the osmium bullion in about 15 milliliters of concentrated 37% hydrochloric acid. To the solution, I'm going to add 5 milliliters of concentrated nitric acid. This will produce a mixture called aqua regia. This mixture is well known for being able to dissolve gold at room temperature, and it can dissolve platinum metal under heating. However, osmium metal is resistant to this mixture even under heating. In about 30 seconds, the mixture develops a yellow cast, and then I place it on the hot plate. As the aqua regia begins to get hotter, bubbles begin to form from the laser engraving. This is due to a combination of osmium's catalytic properties and because the rough surface of the laser engraving offers nucleation sites. In short, those bubbles are the aqua regia decomposing and not the metal. After letting the osmium bullion sit in the aqua regia for several more minutes, I neutralize the solution and remove the osmium bullion for inspection. After letting the osmium bullion soak in reverse osmosis water to remove any salt residues, I allowed it to dry in air. There was no difference in mass after the test, indicating a very high purity. When I re-examined it under a microscope, there was no evidence of any etching or corrosion whatsoever. The only difference I could find were some salt crystals of either sodium chloride or sodium nitrate, possibly with some sodium hydroxide left over. This was because I failed to properly wash the sample. Now, while the osmium bullion itself is absolutely fantastic, and I do mean superb, the acrylic holder did suffer some damage during this review. Before I tell you how this damage occurred though, let's take a look at how these acrylic carriers are put together. First, we have a top piece made of just pure acrylic. There's also a bottom piece of acrylic, again, can be washed with water no problem. Now the actual label can be either on the bottom piece or the middle piece. This label contains a water-soluble laminate. Alexander Weimer has experimented with different laminates, however none were as good as the water-soluble one, so you cannot clean this laminate with water, otherwise it will get damaged. You must use a brush, preferably an anti-static brush, to clean it. And yes, that does mean if you gunk it up with fingerprints or grease, you're pretty much screwed. However, the label can simply be removed and the carrier still functions perfectly. And besides, I paid for a high-precision engineered osmium bullion, not a piece of acrylic. Overall, this is a fantastic product, and I hate to say it, but I actually prefer this one to the Lucidaria bullion.